Imposed by Ben Hatt. Scene 1 opens in an apartment living room. There is a desk with a laptop. There's a table and chairs, a coffee table, and a sofa upon which Kate is sleeping. There are a couple of wine glasses and empty wine bottles on the coffee table. A phone goes off on the coffee table.
Hey, how's it going?
God.
Bad, huh?
My head is killing me.
I left some water on the coffee table.
My mouth tastes like shit.
You didn't throw up, did you?
I wish I did. How are you so full of energy?
The sun is shining, the cherry blossoms are out. I'm high on life, Kate.
Fuck you. Are you biking?
Uh-huh.
Call me when you're on your way home from softball. I need to sleep.
I am on my way home from softball.
What time is it?
Almost 12. I'll be home in about 10 minutes. You better get moving.
I can't.
Why don't you start with a shower?
No, I mean it. My arms are dead. My legs won't move.
Get up or I
think
will
I'm
pour
dying.
water all over your head when I get home.
I think genuinely that if I move, I'm gonna puke and shit at the same time.
Oh my God. Stop being so dramatic. Just get up.
Fine. Oh my God.
And call Mark. Tell him we're gonna need more time. I have to get changed when I get home.
Yes, Your Highness. Anything else I can do for you?
Put on some toast. I'm starving. Okay, bye.
God.
Allie hangs up the phone.
Okay. Shower.
Kate briefly leaves. We hear her rustling around for bread. There is the sound of the toaster. And she exits into the bathroom. We hear the shower turn on.
Oh, hold on. Mark?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I think we're gonna be late.
How late?
Well, Allie isn't here.
Oh, I see. So when I knock on your door in 5 seconds, you're gonna be ready to go and we'll be waiting on Al?
Yes.
Mark walks into the apartment.
I can hear the shower in the hallway.
I'm being quick, and trust me, this is for your own good. I fucking stink.
Do you know when Allie's gonna be home?
In 5 minutes, she's almost back. God, I don't feel well, Mark. Mark, I have a serious question. Have you ever puked and shat at the same time? Have you ever felt like there's an invisible man hammering on your skull with an ice pick?
Do you want me to come back when you're ready?
Tomorrow?
No, today.
You can't blame this all on me. It's Allie who's holding us up.
You're right. I'm sure we'd be going right now if it weren't for her.
Can we just do next weekend?
No, the cherry blossoms will be gone by next weekend.
Okay, fine, but I need you to give me an incredible amount of sympathy, okay? Like, as if I had been in a mild car accident.
What are you talking about?
Mark, I'm asking for your compassion here. I'm not asking for, like, anything crazy. Like, you remember how you looked at that three-legged dog when we went and did that volunteer afternoon?
Uh-huh.
Like that.
That dog made me cry.
I mean, you know, before that, when you had, like a really, really sad face.
Fine. I'll look at you with the sad face.
For, like, 4 minutes?
Okay.
Why am I the only one who always feels like this? Ugh, it's not fair. You and Allie are like superhuman.
Well, I don't know about Allie, but it probably helps that I wasn't there last night.
What? Really? I swear you were here. Where were you?
Out?
Where?
I had a date.
The shower turns off and the curtain rips open.
Okay, what? How did I not know about this?
I told you.
No, you didn't?
Yes, I did.
Oh, God, how was it? Oh, my God, my breath stinks.
We hear the buzz of an electric toothbrush.
It was fine.
Did she come back to yours?
It was a first date.
Right, of course not. Always the gentleman. Besides, I would have heard it if she had.
What? Come on, there are like 3 apartments between us.
Well, if you're any good, I'd hear it.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. She didn't come back.
Kate enters, brushing her teeth, wrapped in a towel.
Do you think there'll be a second date?
I don't know.
Kate goes off to spit out her toothpaste.
Why not?
We don't need to talk about it.
Of course we need to talk about it. I want to hear how it went.
She didn't laugh.
What do you mean?
She just didn't seem to find me funny.
Please don't tell me you were actually trying to tell jokes.
People who are funny tell jokes.
Yeah, but people who are funny work jokes into the conversation. They think things up in the moment. You know, funny people don't say, hey, let me tell you a joke.
Kate exits back into the kitchen.
Look, if she doesn't want a second date, that's her loss. You're a catch. Even if you're not very funny.
Gee, what a compliment.
Kate re-enters, eating a piece of toast with another piece on a plate.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I hope the next one works out.
She goes back into her bedroom.
Welcome to the club, though. Do you know how hard it is to find a decent guy in DC who actually has his life together? Like, someone who wants to hang out instead of, I don't know, get you drunk and have sex and where are my pants?
That's sweet.
Okay, well, maybe that's overkill, but seriously. Allie went on a date a couple of weeks ago, and she met an associate from another law firm at a happy hour I took her to, which is, already a red flag, by the way, because, lawyers. Anyway, she got all dressed up, and she looked fucking hot. And he just took her out to a bar and wanted to get her wasted. It's disgusting.
Says the hungover girl.
Yeah, but I got hungover with my own friends in my own apartment. That's totally different. Okay, it is. Okay, so what did you do when you got home last night that was so much better than coming over here and hanging out with us?
Kate re-enters, changed, with the last of the toast in her mouth.
Not much. I just chilled out, played some video games, watched The Regime.
You watched The Regime? Without me?
I watched 2 episodes.
2?
I wanted to see what happened.
Mark, that's our show!
Sorry?
Well, what am I supposed to do now?
I don't mind watching it again.
But it's not the same. Mark! Seriously?
Come on, it's a TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show that we were supposed to watch together. Look, I'm gonna finish getting ready. Why don't you meet me downstairs in 20 minutes? And in the meantime, maybe you should think about what you've done, okay?
Fine, Alice. Think about what I've done.
Mark exits. All this talking has made Kate forget about her headache. She grabs ibuprofen and throws it back. She walks back to the computer.
God.
She checks her phone on Instagram. She scrolls.
Oh my God, Nikki, you psycho.
She types a response, keeps scrolling.
Stupid.
She catches herself going down a social media rabbit hole. She drops the phone and clicks to her emails. She types a brief response to one email, clicks to another, deletes it, and then clicks to the next. She scrolls through a very long email. She races into the bathroom.
Oh my God.
We hear her retch and vomit.
God, what the fuck was that? What? Oh my God. Oh my God.
She grabs her phone to call Allie.
No. Oh God. No, man. Oh my God. What am I? I don't know. Oh God. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Fuck. Come on, pick up.
The call goes straight to voicemail.
Fuck. Hurry up, I need to show you something.
Kate hangs up and texts Allie with a follow-up. We hear footsteps clapping off stage.
This is such bullshit. I've barely had a week off. This was my second game all season. Yeah, I know. It's part of the job, but why am I always the one who gets called?
Allie walks into the apartment, dropping her softball bag near the entrance.
This is what I want, but can't you let me complain for once?
Allie,
That's all I'm asking.
Allie, get off the phone.
I had this whole day planned out, and now I have to go over to production. The production studio in like 3 hours.
Allie walks off stage into the kitchen. We hear the sound of the toaster going down.
Okay, well, thanks for all the support, Mom. I'm gonna go enjoy what's left of my weekend. Okay. Yeah, love you too. Okay, bye. Unbelievable, this fucking job. Why can't Congress work from 9 to 5 like normal people? Did you eat the rest of the toast I asked you to make? Are you okay? What's wrong?
Look.
Allie's eyes catch an explicit image on the laptop.
What the fuck is this? Who sent this?
I don't know. I don't know whose email that is.
Where did they, how? Who would even make these?
I don't know.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh my God.
Did you respond?
No. Why would I do that?
So they can tell us what the fuck is going on.
Okay.
Allie
But-
starts typing an email in response.
But it says in the email that they don't want us to tell us who they are. So I don't think they're gonna get into a back and forth, Allie.
Oh my God, let me just try.
I don't know if you should.
Let me try.
Allie finishes typing and clicks send. She turns back to the anonymous email.
What is this? What even is this? Why would someone email all this stuff? And how did they get your email in the first place?
I don't know, but clearly they wanted us to know the pictures were out there.
You think some fucking pervert is out there growing a conscience? Is that what we're supposed to believe?
I don't know.
Allie clicks back into the inbox.
The email bounced.
Do you think we should click on the link?
What link?
For the forum. I didn't want to click on it because, but maybe we should. Click on it.
Just wait.
Click it.
Stop! You want me to click on a link we don't know? That could be anything. I'll type it.
Okay.
I'll type it in manually.
Both women pore over the forum.
This is... Oh my God. Oh my God.
There's a brief sound of graphic sex as Allie clicks on and off a video.
They made fucking videos?
There's no way. This can't be happening.
Look at these comments.
They know where I went to college? Wait. No.
Your parents' names are out there?
Oh my God, they have my dad's email address. Look, are you fucking kidding me?
Okay,
Oh
Kate, just take a breath. Okay, breathe.
God, what is this? What is this?
Look at me, okay? All we know is that they're sharing it in this group, and they're egging each other on. That's it. I'm sure you would have heard from your parents if they received anything. We can only deal with what we know right now.
But, what if it's just a matter of time, no? Yeah, this stuff is out there. They know who we are. Oh my God, what if my dad actually sees this? Fuck. Oh, man.
I bet you it was him.
Who?
Cole.
Why would Cole do this?
Because he's an asshole.
Yeah, but this?
He'd eat shit if it meant destroying my life.
Yeah, but that was 6 months ago. Why would he start doing this now?
Oh my God, look, at the timestamps on the comments, they've been at this for at least that long. I bet you he and his friends are having a good laugh about this. Let's deepfake Allie and put her face on a porn star.
But
what a fucking asshole.
You think his friends would do this too?
I'm gonna call him.
Allie, but...
What?
Just... Wait. Okay, let's just think for a moment. Okay, why would he have done this to me? I mean, sharing my dad's email address? Are you serious?
Because he's got no moral compass. He is literally the worst human being in the world.
Cole picks up the phone.
Hi, Cole. Hi, yeah, how are you? So why'd you do it?
Oh my God.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't give me that bullshit, Cole. Cole, listen to me. You messed with the wrong fucking person. I'm going to tell everyone you did this. This is low. This is really fucking low, even for you. No. Don't tell me to fucking calm down. And to Kate as well. What the fuck is wrong with you? Go on. I'm putting you on loudspeaker and you can lie to her yourself.
Allie puts the phone on speaker.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Bullshit!
Will you please just tell me what's going on?
Okay. Someone put deepfake porn of us online.
What? That wasn't me. I swear that's disgusting.
Oh, that's disgusting, is it? But texting all my friends after we break up and telling them I'm a whore isn't? That doesn't reach your lofty standards of being fucking disgusting?
I didn't call you a whore.
You accused me of sleeping with half of my colleagues at work.
I was upset.
You were fucking deluded.
I'm sorry.
You texted my parents.
I'm sorry. How many times do I have to say it?
I don't believe you.
You have to. I was an asshole. I can't take that back, but I didn't do this, Allie. I wouldn't even know where to start. Kate, do you really think I did this? Kate!
I don't know.
Do you know what you've done?
I haven't done anything.
Do you have any idea? None of this is going away.
I know, and I'm sorry, but I didn't do it. Why can't you just believe me?
Fuck you.
Allie hangs up the phone.
Do you think we can, get the forum closed? I know the pictures are out there, but that would help, wouldn't it?
I mean, how are we gonna close it down? It's not like it's on fucking Facebook.
Well, there must be an administrator or something.
Oh yeah, the guy who runs the website where everyone's uploading this shit? Yeah, you want me to appeal to him?
That's not what I meant.
Well, who else can I appeal to?
I don't know. Whoever owns the servers or sells the domain or something.
Okay, what the fuck are you even talking about?
I don't know. I don't know how this shit works. I just want to get it off the internet.
Okay, I do too, but I don't see how we can do that. I think, all we can do is try to find out how all this happened. Okay, fine. Wait, take a look at this one. Look at my hair. It's shorter.
So?
I cut my hair 3 months ago.
And?
That's after you two broke up.
Big deal. He could have just taken pictures off the internet.
Yeah, all of us blocked him, Allie. You blocked him, I blocked him, everyone did.
Okay, well, maybe someone didn't. Or maybe he used a fake account. I don't know. There are so many ways he could have done this.
Kate's phone rings.
Is he calling you now?
It's Mark.
Oh, don't answer it.
I should tell him we're gonna need more time.
Well, he can fucking wait. We need to sort this out.
Kate declines the call.
Okay.
You don't think it was Cole, do you?
Look, I'm barely on social media these days. I don't think I've ever posted a picture or even posted a picture in the last 3 months. And, I don't buy it. I don't buy him doing all this to me.
I don't care. We should just go to the cops. I mean, what does he need? A big fucking I did it sticker on his head? It was him, Kate.
Okay. Just hold on.
Why?
Because we should talk this through, okay? We need to work out how all these photos got into the hands of whoever did this.
Cole did this. Why don't you believe me?
Okay, don't be like that with me. I'm not the enemy here. I'm just trying to make sense of it all.
The police can work it out.
Yeah, there's nothing for them to work out. Even if it was Cole, it doesn't actually matter. Yeah, maybe, okay, he shared the photos of us, but there's no way of proving that he actually made these. He probably hasn't done anything illegal.
What do you mean he probably hasn't even done anything illegal? Of course he has. Uploading porn of someone without their permission? Hey, that's illegal.
Okay, yeah, but it's not us, Allie. It's clear from a lot of the pictures it's not us. Okay, they're obviously photoshopped. Okay, I know that it doesn't make it any better, but it makes a difference. Legally.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot I was talking to an expert in porn law.
Okay, I do work at a law firm, Allie. I may only be a paralegal, but I do know a thing or two.
Well, what happened here? This is illegal.
Okay, it's not. I was assigned to all this tech stuff a while ago, so I read about it. There's no way that we can prove who created them. There's no way we can prove who distributed them. Okay, if you don't believe me, look it up.
Allie types something into the computer. She reads the text. She types again.
Okay, and go back to the forum.
Sure.
Look at how many different users have uploaded photos and videos. This isn't just one person. Someone shared our photos, and all these people have gone fucking wild.
So let me get this straight. A whole fucking community of perverts and losers can do this, and you're saying that no one can get punished for it.
I don't...
Fuck! Ah! Fuck! Ah!
Okay,
She starts scrolling through the forum.
what are you doing?
I just want to see if there's some kind of proof.
Proof of what?
Of who took them. You said you recognized your hair, right? Maybe
Yeah.
there are other clues. You can still see the parts of the original background. So if we know who took the pictures and had access to them, then maybe we'll have a better idea of who's behind this.
But, you know, if they're on Instagram or something, then anyone could have access.
So we cross-reference them. See if there aren't any that aren't on social media.
Yeah, we're not gonna know everything that we've ever posted.
Okay,
though.
well, let's at least try.
Allie starts scrolling through the pictures.
Okay. See, look at this one. You can see the mall in the background.
That's my old profile picture on Facebook. But that was years ago. I'm like 14. Who the fuck does that?
Allie keeps scrolling.
That one. That looks like a restaurant in the background.
I don't know.
Think.
I don't know, Allie. I don't have a Rolodex of all the pictures that I've ever been taken in my head. This is stupid.
Well, what else do you recommend?
Allie keeps scrolling.
What about that one of you?
I don't know.
Or that one?
I don't. I'm not sure.
Okay, so don't get on my case when I can't remember mine either.
Fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, just keep going. Keep going. No, Stop! Wait, go back.
She scrolls back up.
That one. I know that one. Hey, you remember when I got hit by a hit on my bike by a car last fall? Look, there's the scratch on my cheek, and there are the straps from my bike helmet.
You sure that's from then?
When else have I had a scratch like that on my face? But this doesn't make any sense. There's no way he would have posted that picture of me anywhere.
Who?
Mark. He took a picture of me in case I wanted to report it.
Do you remember if he posted any other pictures from that day?
I don't know.
Maybe he posted some and accidentally included it. Then someone could have ripped the picture from there. Check his Facebook and I'll look at Instagram.
The two of them scroll on their phones through Mark's social media.
Yeah, I just don't think he would have been so careless with that picture. He knows how shook up I was.
They keep searching.
There's nothing here.
Nothing here either.
Maybe he texted it to someone.
Why?
I don't know, to see if he should take you to the hospital or something. We should call him.
No. Wait.
Why?
Because right now we don't even know he took the picture. We know that there's zero reason he would have put it online, and, we can't see on his social media. Look, maybe there's some explanation for him sharing it with someone. But what if there isn't?
You really think Mark could have done this?
I don't know. But if it's him and we call him, he'll know we're on to him. Before we do anything, let's just check again.
They scroll back through Mark's social media, but they can't find anything.
Come on.
This is stupid. I'm gonna call him.
Don't.
What do you want to do?
Okay, we got to make sure that he didn't send it to anyone. And we've got to get him to admit that without him knowing about any of this.
Well, how do we do that?
Let me call him.
Kate calls Mark.
Hey. Yeah, we're still getting ready. Yeah, I know. Allie still has to shower. Why don't you come over and we can leave as soon as she's ready?
Kate hangs up the phone.
You invited him here?
Yeah, we've got to speak to him.
You really think it's him?
Okay, let's just find out.
I don't want to do this.
We have to.
We don't. I don't want to.
Okay, let's just work out what the facts are. Okay?
I can't. I'm going.
Just come on.
Hey, how's it going? You okay?
Yeah. We're fine. Sorry. I'm still hungover and Allie's tired from softball.
Did you win?
Allie can't bring herself to answer and instead exits to the bathroom.
You sure everything's okay?
We're fine.
You feeling any better?
What do you mean?
Because of last night?
Oh, yeah. I just need to keep drinking water.
I'll get you some.
He briefly exits to the kitchen and comes back with a glass of water.
Maybe this will help you forgive me.
For what?
For watching the regime? Thought you were gonna keep busting my balls.
Sorry, I just feel like shit, that's all. How was the wedding last weekend, by the way? I forgot to ask.
It was good. Getting there and back was no fun, but it was good.
Where was it again?
Houston.
Do you, have any pictures?
Yeah.
Allie re-enters the room, lingering at a distance.
Allie and I were just talking about our dream weddings the other day. Would love a little inspo.
Well, just don't pick a place in Texas. It's a long way to go for a weekend.
Aw, how pretty. I didn't know you posted this much.
I mean, I like to share what I'm up to. We follow each other. You don't see me post?
I guess not.
Kate keeps scrolling through Mark's Instagram feed.
Look at all these pictures from Allie's birthday. Allie, have you seen these? Look at all the snow from Christmas.
Allie, I thought you were showering.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna get sweaty outside again, so maybe there's no point.
Then let's go.
Oh. You know what I was thinking about the other day? Our bike ride from last fall. And that was such a nice day until I got hit by a car.
Yeah, I can't believe it wasn't worse. That guy was driving like a maniac.
Do you have that picture of me that you took after that? It looked like I was straight out of a war zone. Do you remember me coming back, Allie?
Yeah.
Let me find it. I just want to send it to myself real quick.
Can we do this later?
I just want to check.
Check in the car. Please, can we just go? We were supposed to leave like 30 minutes ago.
Kate keeps scrolling.
Give me my phone.
Okay, I just want to find it.
I'll find it for you.
Here it is. Did you share this photo with anyone?
What do you mean?
Did you share it with anyone?
Why would I do that?
Did you post it anywhere?
No.
You didn't text it to anyone?
No.
So how did it get on the internet?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Was it you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was you.
Oh, man.
What was me?
this.
I don't know anything about this. I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. This is just, I shouldn't be here right now. I'm gonna go.
Oh my God.
Allie's caught between him and the door. Allie reaches for her softball bat. She hits him.
Allie, stop!
Oh, what the fuck?
Where did these pictures come from?
I don't know. Someone must have gotten into my phone. All right.
Sorry.
I didn't need anything.
What the hell does that mean?
I didn't have a choice.
No, you didn't have a choice?
Why'd you do it?
Because I fucking hate you! The both of you! You make me feel like I'm a waste of fucking space. You don't see me, you don't give a shit about me. I hate every minute of being around you. I do everything for you. You're upset, I'm there. You're late for work, I pick up your groceries. And if you just saw me for what I do for you, maybe you'd show some fucking appreciation, but you're too selfish. You're too in your head. You don't care about me. You don't ask about me. I offer to drive you to the cherry blossoms, and what do I get out of it? Mark, wait until we're ready. Mark, wait until Allie's had a shower. Treating me like I'm a fucking driver? Like my life revolves around you? You tell me I'm not funny. You make it sound like I don't have a good day because I'm bad at sex. Fuck you! I did zero. Thanks. Zero. And I'm sick of it. So, yeah, when I went down a Reddit hole and I saw some guys talking about pictures like this, I asked about it. And you know what? I realized it wasn't just me. All these guys are getting the same treatment. So yeah, when they invited me to join this group and I saw a bunch of women getting exactly what they deserve, I thought, why the fuck not? Let's do it to you too. So I sent them photos. And you know what? I didn't even have to pay anyone. They knew what I was going through because women like you are fucking everywhere. And I'm glad I did it because it made me realize I'm not the only guy dealing with this kind of bullshit. All the time, you're telling me, don't do this, do that, telling me what I can and can't watch, telling me to wait, telling me to come back later. You ignore me, you decline my calls. I mean, who the fuck do you think you are? You did this! This was your fault! Move.
Mark grabs for the baseball bat. Kate throws herself against him, and he elbows her in the stomach. It gives Allie enough time to bring the bat crashing down on Mark's shoulders. She brings it down again and again, dropping him to the floor. She can't stop hitting him.
We're fucked. Why didn't you stop?
Oh, this is my fault, is it?
Okay, I didn't say that. What do we do now? Allie?
Kate thinks Allie's going to hit him again. She spits on him and re-enters and reopens the apartment door.
Allie, think about what he's gonna do as soon as he leaves the apartment.
We can't keep him here forever.
I know, Allie, but he's gonna call the cops. So that's it?
Maybe I should have killed him.
Don't say something like that.
What do you want from me? He does this and I'm the one who gets in trouble. Whatever, I don't give a fuck. What he did is going to get out. And when it's going to get out more because of this. And then when it does, I guarantee you, there will be a whole lot of women who read about it with the big fucking smile on their face. And there'll be a whole lot of guys who think twice. So, yeah, you know what? I don't regret it. Come on, get out.
Don't touch me.
Mark, we can stop this here, right? This doesn't have to go any further.
Mark exits, slamming the door.
I'm scared.
Me too.
It's not just him. These pictures, these people online, what's gonna happen? What?
I'm just thinking about where I'm supposed to be in a couple of hours, and all that stress doesn't feel so bad anymore. You never think about how good life is. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this.
We're gonna deal with it together.
No. I'm the one who hit him.
I don't care.
I do. This is my fault.
This is not your fault.
What have I done, Kate?
I'm sorry.
What have I done?
Okay.
I always thought I'd spot someone like this like a mile off.
The main door of the building opens. Footsteps shuffle up the stairs.
I never thought I would feel so small.
The footsteps get louder. We hear knocking.
Oh my God.
Police, open up. Open up.
I'm coming.
There's more knocking at the door. The two stand in front of the closed door, catching their breaths, and then Kate reaches for the doorknob. End of play.
Oh, we're back. Yeah. I was like, where'd he go? Yes. Great.
So I am very thankful for you all coming out tonight, for any Scotland fans especially, given that there's the Scotland-Brazil game going on at the moment. I'm glad you've chosen to come here instead. And I'm so excited to have Alexa and Mary join for a conversation after experiencing the play that we did. But before we get started, let me just do a couple of introductions. So Alexa is Alice Joubin is an English professor at George Washington University. She is also an affiliated faculty in women's, gender and sexuality studies. She co-founded and directs GW's Digital Humanities Institute, which is a hub of research, teaching and outreach activities around digital and new media. She's a leader in the field of digital humanities and public interest technology. And she's also affiliated with GW's Trustworthy AI Initiative and the National Science Foundation Institute for Trustworthy AI in Law and Society. And Mary Graw is a former federal prosecutor focusing on crimes against women and children. She is a current professor of law at the Catholic University of America, Columbus School of Law, and she is the director of the Bakita Initiative for the Study and Disruption of Modern Slavery. Her scholarship examines the intersection of criminal law, technology, victimization, and exploitation, and she recently completed a book chapter on nudification apps, apps that create intimate images of other people using AI, something that is very relevant to the play. I also want to acknowledge we were supposed to have a third panelist, Becca Branum. Unfortunately, she had a last-minute change in schedule that meant she couldn't be here. But I'm so thrilled to have Alexa and Mary, and you both bring such a distinctive expertise and perspective to this conversation and to the themes of the play. And I should also introduce myself. I'm Ben Hatt, so I'll moderate this discussion. I'm a DC-based speechwriter, communications expert, and I am a playwright. And so I'm the writer of the play this evening. And so I think the first thing I'd like to ask you both is, just whilst it's fresh on your mind, is what were the things that stood out to you in the play? What are the things that that resonated with you?
Congratulations, man, on this wonderful play. Congratulations to our actors and big thank you to them for this very energized semi-stage play reading. What stood out to me is the ending. I'm someone who studies Shakespeare and drama as well as theater. I thought that was, I can hear you as a director saying, cut. It was just so unsettling and so beautiful. As in the victims now get into trouble, presumably the perpetrator leaves the apartment, calls police on them, and there's physical violence. I just shudder to think of what will come. And the two of them, they spend a lot of time debating if they have done something wrong. And I think it starts to get into the head of Kate, how there's this deep-seated, internalized victimhood where they started with anger and frustration, but they go down the path of starting to think, maybe, do I have a part in this? And whether Cole could have done it, does it look like the kind of person? I thought that's very in-depth, vivid depiction of the psyche of modern victims. Thank you.
Congratulations as well, and really grateful to the actors. I thought they did such a wonderful job of really bringing this visibly up. So what jumped out at me was that, so as a lawyer in a courtroom or as a law professor trying to change policy, we have to get people to care, right? Whether it's a jury, a judge, or whether it's a policymaker. And if they don't get it, they don't take the action that we need. And so what jumped out at me was an aspect of this type of crime. There are two qualities, I think, to this type of crime that when I talk to people about it, I really want to bring home. One is the perpetuity, right? As a prosecutor, I've dealt with a lot of crimes over the years, not committing them. And crime is really bad, all kinds of crime, and I'm not going to rank crimes, but I do think that in most crimes, right, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. There is a time where one deals with the trauma of it and with support, etc. The event itself can hopefully be in the past if there's still lingering effects. But this crime or child sexual abuse material or other things, it has a uniquely pernicious harm. It is in perpetuity. And so I think the play brings that up because we often have to convince these policymakers it's the image that is harmful. It's its existence that is harmful. So I thought the play did a really great job of that. And then with the AI generation, I thought it did an excellent job with another component of this form of exploitation. And that is, we are completely defenseless. So I agree with you, the victim survivors are not to blame at all, of course, but with most other kinds of victimizations, we can do things. Like, I don't want my house burglarized, so I'm gonna lock the door, I'm gonna get a camera, I'm gonna do things like that to decrease my chances. With AI, you cannot protect yourself. I guess if you never post a picture ever. And to me, that dimension of this victimization is very hard to communicate because there's literally nothing victim survivors can do to stop it unless our laws catch up and our society shifts. So I thought your play did a really great job of bringing that out.
Thank you. And I think part of the reason why I wrote this play was exactly that. It was this sense of when the scenario started coming to me was the defenselessness of the victims. There was no recourse when it comes to, or very little recourse when it comes legally, but also that the posting of an innocent picture is all it takes for it to be manipulated into something traumatic and nefarious. But jumping off of that, there has been some legal action. and there was the Take It Down Act, which was passed relatively recently. And I wonder if we can start, Mary, if I can hand it over to you, to just give a brief sense of what the act is, how it works, and a sense of what more is being explored in that space.
So everyone wants to have a law school class, right? We good? I taught evidence 7:45 to 9, so I can totally do this. But no, I'll speak real quickly. So just to appreciate the law, I want you to understand the word pornography has no legal significance, right? That is just a thing, right? What has legal significance prior to the emergence of this kind of exploitation would have been child pornography, also known as child sexual abuse material. That is unprotected, right? So that's illegal. And obscene speech, unprotected, that's illegal. So there was for many years this gap in the law for what happens with sexualized images of someone, whether authentic or AI generated. What do we do with that? So 47 states had laws trying to address this as soon as this became a problem. Some of you have heard the phrase revenge pornography. We don't like to use that phrase anymore. The technical phrase is internet-based sexual abuse, but you've heard deepfakes, whatever. So many states came up with laws, and those kind of run the gamut, but the Take It Down Act was passed about a year ago, and federally it did two things. One is it made it a crime to post and distribute these kinds of images under certain circumstances, right? And the offender had to have a certain mental state when he did it, meaning couldn't be an accidental thing, et cetera. So it dealt with what we say the primary offenders, the distributors, producers, et cetera. Or importantly, to threaten to do that, because these images are also used as a means to other crimes as well as a crime in and of themselves. So that's the first part. But the second part, which I think is really quite important, just came into effect last month, and that is requiring platforms to take it down, right? To establish a notice and takedown procedure and a way that people can do that, because that was a secondary victimization. They're out there, as your characters have it in the play, and they're letting platforms know this is out there, and they're not being responsive. And there's a whole other law that essentially gives platforms carte blanche to do whatever they want, and that to me is a real crux of the problem, and the law has not caught up to that.
Well, thanks for that explanation and sharing that. And I guess my question to both of you from your distinctive vantage points, given the lay of the land that there has been some action in this space, where do you both see the importance of taking more action? What are the next steps?
From my perspective, in my field, I would say education is a main piece of it. Law, as you know, is always after the fact and playing catch up. And there's a question of enforceability and all. So to kind of pull back a little bit, maybe we can think about building collective immunity as a society. You depicted these men as feeling very angry. They're entitled, and they would have words like women like you. There are so many women like you. And it really brings to, at least for me, it evokes the image of the so-called long shooter problem, and how many of them had testimonies. I wonder if you took inspiration from that with this kind of language. And so they're on a crusade. It's misogynist. They're, because they were after one woman, they get rejected, and now they take it out on all women. So it's a large part of that, and our culture has also changed. The rise of publicly available generative AI coincided with the rise of fascism and a culture of cruelty. Now, that's a top-down process because there are idols being elected into public office, and there's this kind of modeling effect was at least normalizing and making that okay, making that something people would emulate. We could work from the grassroots, bottom up, in education, not in the sense of kind of indoctrinating, but to provide opportunities, which I found this play being an excellent example for people to think through. We need very important legal lessons as well, but this, as a community event, it's an invitation for people to kind of collectively reflect on various possible situations and scenario. I find that is where the power of the arts lie, right? Not to be idealistic and saying can change. We can effect changes one small step at a time. And both from the legal perspective and from the artistic perspective, I think little by little we can build that immunity. And by that, I meant a collective awareness, an attitude that we need to, and we can refuse and resist. Refuse to share, for instance, rather than kind of jumping on the bandwagon, being carried away by the allure, which is still very strong, of likes, of popularity. Sitting behind a keyboard, everything is easy. And there's also this sheep mentality. Most people, if you ask them individually, I think they would want to project an image of righteousness. You know, I have a moral compass. But in the crowd, people would become followers. Others do this, why don't I, that looks like fun, especially for younger audiences. And that is an epidemic. I believe education in the right context can effect some changes there. And so, in short, prevention is always better than reactive cure.
Agreed. Prevention, always better. Part of prevention can be deterrence. So when I say the law is an important part of a response, it's both laws that can prevent and laws that can hold account. And I think both of those are important. And I think it all ties into exactly what you were saying about what are we as a culture going to accept sort of socially. And I'll give you an example of sort of different ways to respond to things. If you think about January of this year, all in the news was the notification app appeared on what social media thing? Anyone remember? Grok, okay? So notification apps appeared on Grok. And most companies that had these AI companions put in rules. I didn't really intend when we had this as part of our social media, and we didn't really intend people to be able to dictate, I would like this photo of this person doing this, not dressed, right? Most companies put in rules. Grok did not. And you might recall the reaction, right? People were outraged, et cetera. The reaction in the United States, well, let's talk about the reaction in Europe. The Paris prosecutors raided Grok's office. There's a current investigation going right now. The EU sped up some laws about making notification apps illegal, like why do they exist at all, et cetera. So there were strong reactions. In the United States, Elon Musk's response to doing this on a massive scale was to make it a feature of Grok. So then you could only do it with their premium site. So it became a feature, and they had hundreds of thousands of people flock to their site. So that speaks to the culture. Now, I should say he will tell you that it's no longer something you can do, et cetera. But then you'll note Grok is part of XAI, which is a subsidiary of SpaceX, which just went public. And who's the richest person in the world? So that's a way to respond to industrialized gender-based violence, sexual objectification of women, mostly women. The statistics are it's 99%. So I think that the response is to have our law respond not just to the producers and distributors, but to what I refer to as the ecosystem of exploitation. Because there is now an ecosystem when there's digital component. So the creators of the apps, why do they exist? And if you could read some of the descriptions of what they're talking about, these are not like, let me help you create nude art, struggling artist. That is not what they're advertised as. To the platforms that host them, to the stores that sell the apps and make money every single time somebody does that, and the list goes on and on. I think our law has to hold all of those people to account and to make it not business advantage to oppress women. I don't know, radical idea.
Absolutely. Can I jump in?
Can I just add to that quickly? Because I so appreciate both of your answers, and it, something that stood out to me in both of what you said is that fundamentally this becomes a cultural issue. There's a cultural core to this, is that we have so much access to these tools. And now increasingly with the proliferation of AI, the amount of AI slop there is, the amount of AI deepfakes there is, covering all sorts of issues from the intimate to the political to the just distorting the truth. You only need to kind of scroll through your phone to see these videos and these photographs everywhere now. And so I guess my question is just for both of you to when it comes to cruelty or when it comes to business advantage, like when we are in a society where it is so entrenched culturally, socially, and individually at that point when we're just alone scrolling through our phone, what are the steps that we can take when it's so entrenched?
Before I respond to that, I just wanted to connect with a wonderful point Mary made. Two, actually. First is that, did you say pornography is actually not defined legally?
It's not a legally significant term. We don't charge people with pornography. We charge them with obscenity or with child pornography. CSAM.
So this falls into the category, if I ask people what is pornography, I don't know. I can't define. I know it when I see it. Mm-hmm. I think we all agree. And I can see how it might be difficult actually to define this object legally, a legally meaningful definition. Nonetheless, I feel that we should try to pursue it. In my field, I have talked to my colleagues in the law school about what authorship and copyright is. That's an equally interesting area in terms of claiming copyright. It has to be, it's not defined in the way that we do it in literary studies, like the Shakespeare, write Shakespeare, this kind of thing, but rather if this work were to be duplicated without your permission, how much harm you can define the harm, and then so indirectly, I think they are getting to the concept of the copyright. This is different from what we call moral right. If I write a book, I own the moral right, but my publisher owns the copyright, the right to print that thing. So even if something is murky and is difficult to nail down, it doesn't mean that it is not out there, especially with the notion of porn. I think if we ask people, everyone say, I know what that is, but it's just very difficult to define in words exactly these three elements. If you check these three boxes, that image or video is pornographic versus performative. This if you think about film rating, it's equally murky territory where they think about explicit language if it's PG-13 and if there is sexual violence. And the other notion, I think, when you say we are so helpless, we are helplessly being carried away by the inundation of images of medias that we all know the term doom scrolling. I don't think there's a solution that can or should be pushed to all, but there's some resistance. Sociological studies repeatedly point out the mental health benefits if one were to disengage from social media, because it has become a toxic space of the wrong kind of validation. The positivity people feel there, psychologists say it's a toxic positivity in the sense that people only share, we think of influencers, the most glamorous aspect. And therefore, for us, casual browsers will feel inadequate, right? And so, and we're being pushed to always feel positive. You have to be positive about things. So it's a toxic positivity. And to detox, I think one approach, of course, is to try to cut back on use. I personally do not have a magic silver bullet to say, how are we going to stop? We talk about very specific case. It's internet-based, gender-based violence, but there are many other adjacent territories, hate speech and so on. The groupthink behavior, for example, your character belongs to this group. They're all doing this. They're egging each other on. They're cheering on. And to become one of them, you would have to carry out these actions. For me, that reminds me of the culture of fraternity, sorority on college campuses. And there's the in-group, and then people who don't belong. The woman, there are so many women like you who are doing these kind of things to me. I'm a victim. They always start with this position of self-victimization, and therefore you owe me one. Whatever I do becomes justified. So that's my take on the two issues.
I think that's right. So now I know one talks to me at the office Christmas party, like, what are you working on, Professor Graw? It's all depressing, right? But a couple of things. I couldn't agree more. And let me be clear, when I said pornography is not legally significant, I was just trying to explain sort of that there was this gap in the law. Now, fortunately, the law addresses these images and understands they are harmful to the subjects. But that brings us to the First Amendment, right? And I think that a key aspect here is understanding that the First Amendment is not absolute. The First Amendment is designed to help us navigate these very thorny questions, and they are thorny, and to come up with ways to navigate them. It doesn't mean we don't touch them at all. And unfortunately, that's been some of what has caused these problems, right, is this desire to not touch them at all. When you talk to a lot of scholars these days, they recognize it's a continuum of exploitation, starting with pornography and the themes in pornography, going then to prostitution and sex trafficking and sexual violence. They're all connected. And so when we have the average age of boys in their pocket looking at very violent, aggressive pornography at age 12, that can't be handled in a silo, and then all of a sudden we're going to pass a law way down the other end of the stream and act like they're not related. They, of course, are, and education and gender-based violence all is a part of it. But I think another thing that is really essential is appreciate who the enemy is and how powerful they are. And let me just give you one example in case you didn't follow this. But so there, as I said, who's been really great in this area? The states. Attorneys generals, state governments, because they are dealing with their citizens coming to them saying, look, this happened, et cetera. So they're passing laws because the federal government has not really responded, certainly with AI. So you remember what happened with the big, beautiful bill, the aspect of it? Somebody tried to sneak in an AI moratorium, right? A federal law that would say, no states can do that. That would have repealed over 1,000 laws. No one had the courage to take that out. One person did, female senator. She moved to amend it to take it out. It passes 99 to 0. I forget, I don't know who the one was. To take it out. That's great, right? Why? Because most people, most citizens, all the polls tell us they want AI regulation for a host of reasons. What happened a few days later? An executive order directing the Department of Justice to stop states to have a moratorium, and it's dubious legality. But why? There's a lot of money to be made by these companies, a ton of money. And by one estimate, I encourage you to look at Issue 1, did a great report on lobbying. They counted it out just the last quarter of last year, over $236,000 per day that Congress is in session from the top 8 tech companies. That's the kind of power that we are fighting on these issues and on many issues. So the key is, in my opinion, to make sure our legislators know we're watching. And there's a lot of money, and we know there's a lot of money, but we are paying attention. I think that that's really important. And I could go on, but you look like you're going to throw yourself off your chair.
Can I jump in briefly?
Just quick, and then I want to hand it over to questions.
Thank you. Follow the money. And earlier you mentioned Grok example. Didn't OpenAI also briefly floated the idea of allowing users to generate porn? And there's a backlash, and they stopped the plan. It's terrible. And there was this so-called debate. It's not real, and so it is fine. Porn is already an industry. Why not that, these are not real people. In theater, film studies, I face this kind of question all the time. It's just a character, it's fictional. And so, can do these things. But in reality, it's always a rehearsal for them to then bring it to real life.
Thank you. And I'm going to open it up now to questions, but the last comment I'll just say is to bring it back to the play is, the fact that we can draw a line from a huge amount of money to the implication of that going down the line to the type of scenarios that played out in the play is, I hope, something that provokes us all to think about the kind of society we're in, that we're willing, that we have big money being invested into something where the byproduct of that is the sort of experience that these two women had. So I now would like to turn it over to the audience for any questions, and Michael will use the mic. I'll leave this for you, and I'll.
Thank you for an interesting discussion. The mention of the redoubtable Mr. Elon Musk Grok AI system, and that he was found guilty of displaying sexualized images, brings to mind what the same gentleman did when he took over Twitter and renamed it as X, whatever. The first thing he did was he laid off the entire group of people who were supposed to be monitoring the content of stuff that was posted on Twitter and clean it up. He said, well, I believe in free speech, and he threw the whole group out. That set in trend. Meta followed suit. They threw out a whole bunch of people, and then I think even YouTube did the same thing. So my question is, so it begins with social media generally. So what is the culture? What is permitted? If you believe in prevention and starting at the bottom, you have several countries which have prevented access to social media only beyond the age of 20, 22. I think there are 6 or 7 countries in Europe, Australia. The question arises, why aren't we doing the same thing here in the USA?
Yep. This is an ongoing discussion, right? And you're quite right. Great Britain just passed the law very recently, and I think that it's a whole separate discussion on children, right? And I would just say to you, I think that we are slowly realizing, well, I'll tell you a story. So I've had the good fortune, it's short, I've had the very good fortune of testifying in front of Congress over the years about these issues. And back in the day, it was me, tech people, talking about free speech and how we can't lose the competitive advantage. And, me trying to convince, and others. The last time I testified, very tragically, but I think significantly, I was sitting in between the mothers of 2 children who had died online due to things that had happened. One, or getting drugs from online, and they knew the drug dealer was there, and the other engaged in a terrible challenge that is available on TikTok, right? And one of the lawyers who did the California social media case. And I thought, what's changed? That tech is nowhere here on this panel. And I think what changed is our Congress people are seeing what these legislators are seeing. They're seeing how this is affecting our children, their families, their marriages, et cetera. And there's movement there. So I do think that there's positive ideas to putting in much more regulation for children. It just has to beat the money.
On the flip side, I think New Zealand, did they backtrack on such a law? The smoking age is another. Legislating that people born after a certain year, they just cannot access tobacco products for life. So it's kind of similar. I applaud these new laws, but I also couldn't help thinking about when they become of age and suddenly have access to social media, would it be extra toxic, not having had exposure and the discourses and the educational opportunities of being exposed to such things? But I'm not a legal expert. That's just my take from educational side. There must be other comments and questions.
Yes. Do we have any other questions?
Thanks to the panel and thanks to Ben. One of the things that really struck me about the play was the attempt to add a little bit of texture and humanity to the person who did that. And I'm just kind of curious, what role does compassion, understanding for the people, the humans who are doing these things, like where does that play, and where do the larger sort of like social fabric and mental health issues and pain that causes these hurtful actions come in?
I would say your play definitely brought up the very complicated issues because you wrote so well. So you humanize the perpetrators as well. It's not a black and white picture. And that provokes a lot of reflection in me, at least. If it's kind of a really flat black and white depiction, it's easy. That's the villain, But very often, I think good drama would amplify that gray space. Personally, I'm curious: do motivations matter from the legal standpoint of view, beyond sentencing consideration and such?
Sure. So they do, right? So for example, the Take It Down Act requires, so crimes we think of as acts and mental state, mens rea. And so the Take It Down Act does talk about that when the person does it, they have to have certain intents. And one is the intent to harm, right? So it does draw distinctions between different scenarios, to draw distinctions between the different situations that you're talking about. And then you're quite right, in sentencing, we see that again, right? A distinction between the 17-year-old boy who does something and the 50-year-old guy who's selling money off of it, right? So there are those distinctions. And since you handed the lawyer the microphone, I'm going to say one more thing and then hand it back to you. And I think that There is absolute rules for appreciating the complexity here, but we have to engage, and so often people don't want to engage. But what transforms policymakers is when they themselves can envision themselves being harmed, and I think that that's what we're seeing is, these policymakers are looking at their 25-year-old daughter, paralegal, who all of a sudden can't get a job because if you Google her, this is what happens. Well, that affects them. Then they understand the harm. Then they're willing to engage.
I just want to add as well, Alexa, you made and I appreciate your comments about how I approach the character. And I think for me, sort of, in a way, motivation is the currency of character. It's like, why do people do what they do? And in revealing the motivation of Mark, I hope, this was in me exploring him as a character, there's a lot of messiness there, and there's a lot of vulnerability, and this is not in any way to justify what he does, it's to understand why he does what he does, because I think reacting to the actions that someone like a Mark takes is only one part of the story. We've also got to understand why someone like he does it in the first place, and even if it's for reasons that we may think are sad, pathetic in our own mind, they are still the reasons why he inflicted harm. And so understanding motivation, even if it doesn't quite make sense to us, is so important.
And I think that kind of empathy, compassion, doesn't mean that we take pity on Mark or exonerate him, but rather trying to be, if possible, dramatically speaking, being in his headspace for a little while. Very uncomfortable space, but it's there. And that is valuable in itself artistically, rather than just, here is a caricature, this very bad man out there. And that doesn't quite work, right? Because then if you don't give each character equal development, we would not be able to connect with them and have a deeper understanding of the situation. It'll become propaganda, I think.
Yeah. And I think, and then we have time for one more question, but I think one thing that I'm always interested in is when you bring a character to life and you have an audience that sits with one, is where does compassion or empathy from an audience member for a character start and stop? And that can be different for every audience member. Where do you stop feeling that compassion? Where do you stop feeling that empathy? Where do you start feeling that distaste? And that can even change within one audience member's experience of the same story and the same character over time. And so I would ask, when you think about this play, how you felt, where that start and stop point was for you. Anyway, was there any last question?
Thank you so much for all of your guys' insight. I'm Jane Wang. I'm a public policy and feminist studies student at Cornell University. And I have a question for Professor Alexa specifically. You had mentioned how there's a growing culture right now, and there's like a sociological aspect behind young men creating these AI images and also perpetuating gender-based violence through them. In your opinion, what do you think we can do specifically as students, interacting among our male peers and our friends, and in these school settings to try to promote a better culture? Thank you.
Thank you for this important question. I teach in English and women's studies. We deal with these cases and theories day in and day out. What I find most effective is actually through the arts. And that could be, I'm not saying everyone has to be a theater student, everyone has to be a film studies student, but do you go out to movies? Do you go out to events? And if you attend something like Ben's play right here, it's an opportunity for dialogue, for conversation, for uncomfortable, difficult, but necessary dialogues. And I would say that's the beginning of interaction instead of with these peers, instead of a didactic approach instead of labels. Labels only mean so much and go so far. I can say, I'm a feminist, you shut up. But that's not a conversation. I think the arts and literature, they are particularly good in this because stories create head space. When we experience a story, when we experience a play, we will not agree on the perspectives. Some will say, "Oh, I understand Mark. I can sympathize with him." Others will say, "That is terrible. He's human trash," right? And by default, I'm going to take the other. Perhaps there's a third position. And when this happens, I see that as being extremely beneficial and healthy because it's the start of a conversation. It's not about agreement, and we may never agree at the end. But that's not a frustration, as long as meaningful conversations have taken place. And no, it will not change overnight. We can have these conversations. In college, you might have these conversations with your male peers for 4 years, and at the end, you might be disappointed. The person doesn't seem to have changed much. But my point is, we need those conversations to take place. And I hope more and more people, from across the aisles would be willing to participate even for a little bit. And that already, I feel, it's progress. So thank you for this question.
And I would just add to that, I like to think of theatre as you just touched on, as being a playing field for that exact conversation, that people can experience the same story, see the same characters come to life and come away with different conclusions, and then engage in conversation and work out why that is. And the very act of conversation can further one, I hope, theatre at its best is when the act of that conversation further one's own, sort of unlocks an ability to go deeper into how one thinks about difficult issues. I want to wrap up with sort of a two-part question for both of you. There was a really interesting article that came out in the New York Times a couple of weeks ago about the world leading expert in deepfakes. And it was covering, one section of the article was covering how he looked at a lot of AI generated images around war. And it describes him looking at a video of a bombing and analyzing it. And in detail, he works through how each element of it reflects reality in a way that he gets to the point where he cannot distinguish whether he thinks it is real or it is fake. And the line at the end of that section of the article says, with each passing second, the video was becoming reality, whether it was real or not. And so to end, I just want to ask, what do you make of the idea that the impacts of AI generated content can be just as real as the impacts of, for lack of a better word, human captured content? And the second part of that being, in a world where that is increasingly the case, what can we do as individuals to try and navigate that world?
So I've already touched on a little bit the problem, and we just have to understand the images are the harm, right? The pain is really real, whether the images are not. So people get wrapped around like, are they just pictures? Like you said, it's just fictional. No. The pain that the subject of that is going to experience is real. Even if we think about Mark, having these Reddit sites deep down into the thing where they're allowed to sort of do those things, and these incel sites, the reality is how that affected him. So I think we really just need to focus on the real and not sort of the fictional, as though the fictional therefore carries no potential to harm. I think it really does. And then I think we have to, as I said before, really think about the exploitation as a continuum, the loneliness, whatever that the Surgeon General wrote about, just the internet in general. You talked about children on the internet. It's all related to where we are, so we have to look at it as related. And then I think we have to look at it as an ecosystem and really set up prevention, responsive controls throughout the whole ecosystem. There is no other industry in the country, in the economy, that cannot be sued and has no regulator. There just isn't. Because that's a really bad idea, right? It's a really bad idea. The idea that the internet or these platforms, we can't lose our competitive advantage is ridiculous propaganda from a well-heeled, wealthiest men in the world. And we have to recognize there is no space for that, because then it leads to we can't tell what's real or what's not.
Following up on this, Pope Leo said on the World Communication Day that AI's threat is anthropological. It is technological, but more importantly, it's sociological. Together, what can and should we do? There's this myth that tech companies like to perpetrate, to say it's the AI doing it. AI is causing massive layoffs, for instance, instead of talking about the human factor, corporate greed, all the issues they are trying to mask. I'm not saying AI is not affecting, but kind of there's this de facto, very easy point. And AI is not human, but who created it? Who trained? Who's deploying? They don't like to talk about it. My law school colleagues love to tell me, from law perspective, the number one question we love to ask is, who can I sue? So it comes down to what you just said, kind of responsibility, which entity is responsible. The fear that you depicted from this article, it's very real. But I wanted to provide a perspective because it falls into the trap of techno-solutionism. Even the expert cannot tell the fake, cannot tell fakery from reality. This is scary, we are lost. It is, but on the other hand, we shouldn't fall into that trap because that will only make certain tech bros even happier. I have a solution for you, and it's technological solution. So techno-solutionism is the belief that all social problems has an algorithmic solution. There's already a secondary industry in in education in general, the so-called AI detectors that, of course, do not work, plagiarism detectors, and so on. There are still educators falling for that. There are biases. There's, students of color, students whose first language is not English. You look like a cheater. You sound like a cheater, and so on. So that's really the wrong focus. Instead of thinking about motivation, why would students feel compelled to take shortcut? So that's a true trap. We shouldn't fall down there. The second part of your question, given that it's harder and harder to distinguish machine-generated images and text from human-captured content, what can and should we do? Again, going back to education, collective awakening, and awareness, and simply the bar is set higher today for students in terms of information literacy and information management skills, distinguishing quality sources, distinguishing valuable information from information that seems very polished, but if you analyze it, it would seem quite empty, for instance. And I wanted to mention briefly that, of course, AI's threat is very real and it is new, but the idea of something that could be happening in reality, but I'm not quite sure if it's real. There were a lot of precedences. One is 9/11 attack. A lot of people saying when they first saw the images on the TV, they could not believe it. They would think this is from a film, right? Are they doing a movie? People are questioning that reality when the reality is so horrible, it exceeded comprehension. Of course, it is not machine generated, but there are things that exceed comprehension that the society begins to question its own sanity as well as the validity of that image. And our tool of defense probably isn't more technology. Give me a tool to tell me if this image is watermarked. There's a solution to say, to force the tools to add invisible watermarks to anything it generates. And artists are fighting back because the companies are taking their works without permission. So they actually added watermarks so that when they use those artist images to train new models, it'll lead to model collapse. These are technological ways of resistance, but there are also humanistic, sociological, collective ways to resist in just having to continue to learn and develop and sharpen our information literacy every day.
Well, thank you, Mary, and thank you, Alexa, for your thoughtfulness and your frankness in this discussion. I also, again, want to thank our creative team for putting on the play this evening. And then, again, I just want to thank the Brademas Center as our partner, NYU DC campus, for hosting us, and to the DC Commission of the Arts and Humanities for making this event possible. And I also want to thank you again for coming this evening. I hope the play and the panel discussion afterwards has provoked conversation, or continues to provoke conversation, for you to kind of take out into the world and continue to have these conversations with people in your community. So thank you for coming.